Okay, I'm live. And there it goes. Now the timer stuff and all that's popping up. Still showing zero. Okay, everything updated at once. I need to put my phone up still. Hello everybody, welcome back to my video. Today is day 52. Maybe 50. I think it's 52. So welcome back to the video. Today's day 52. I'm just gonna say that. I'll be reading chapters that is 17 through 20. And so yeah. Um, Yesterday I read 13 through 16, but the title is wrong. So instead of saying 13 through 16, it said, I can't think, 9 through 12. So yeah, but I updated all the words, so most people probably won't notice that are watching in the future. But if you're watching it before then, you might notice that. But anyways, starting out in chapter 17, it's kind of a long intro. I'll be reading West Manasseh's Inheritance. And I have no clue how to say that. One word, I think it's Manasseh. I'm just going to say it like that. It makes you angry the way I'm pronouncing it. Sorry. This was the allotment for the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn. Gilead and Bashan were given to mature the firstborn of Manasseh and the father of Gilead because he was a man of war. So the allotment was for the rest of Manasseh's descendants by their clans, for the sons of Abiezer, Helek, Israel, Shechem, Hefer, and Shemitah. These are the male descendants of Manasseh son of Joseph, by their clans. Now Zelophehad, son of Heber, son of Gili, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons, only daughters. These were named his daughters: Mahala, Noah, Hagla, Milcah, and Tisra. They came before priest Eliezer, Joshua son of Nun, later saying, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us inheritance among our male relatives, so they give them inheritance among their father's brothers, keeping with the Lord's instruction. As a result, 10 tribes fell to Manasseh beside the land of Gilead and Bashan, which are beyond the Jordan, because Manasseh's daughters received inheritance among his sons. The land of Gilead belonged to the rest of Manasseh's sons. The border of Manasseh went from Asher to Shemethia near Shechem. They went southward towards inhabitants of Tapua. The region of Tapua belonged to Manasseh, but Tapua itself on Manasseh's border belonged to the descendants of Ephraim. From there, the border extended to the brook of Hannah, south of the brook. Cities belonged to Ephraim along Manasseh's cities. Manasseh's border was on the north side of the brook and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. Ephraim's territory was south of Manasseh to the north, with the sea at its border. They reached Asher on the north and Ishar on the east. Within Ishar and Asher, Manasseh had Beth Shan, Iblim, and the inhabitants of Dor with their surrounding villages, inhabitants of Endor, Tanach, and Megiddo, the three cities of Nath, their surrounding villages, the descendants of Manasseh could not possess these cities because Canaanites were determined to stay in the land. However, the Israelites grew stronger. They imposed forced labor on the Canaanites, but did not drive them out completely. Joseph's additional inheritance. Joseph's descendants said to Joshua, "Why did you give us only one tribal anointment as inheritance? We have many people because the Lord has been blessing us greatly." "You've got so many people," Joshua replied to them. "Go to the forest and clear an area for yourselves. They are in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaim, because Ephraim's hill country is too small for you." But since Joseph said, "The hill country is not enough for us, and the Canaanites who inhabit the valley area have iron chariots, both Bashan and its surrounding villages into the Israel Valley, especially the family, that is Ephraim and Manasseh. You may have the people of great strength. You will not have just one allotment, because the hill country will be yours also. It is a forest. Clear its outlying areas, and it'll be yours. You can drive out the Canaanites, even though they have iron chariots and are strong." Chapter 18. Land distribution at Shiloh. The entire Israelite community has assembled at Shiloh and set up its tents of meeting there. The land has been subdued before them, but 7 tribes among the Israelites were left out, had not divided up their inheritance. So Joshua asked the Israelites, "How long will you delay going out to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, gave you? Appoint for yourselves 3 men from each tribe, and I'll send them out. They are to go and survey the land, write a description of it for the purpose of their inheritance, and return to me. Then they are to divide into 7 portions. Judah is to remain in territory in the south, and Joseph's family in the territory in the north. When you have written descriptions of the 7 portions of the land brought to me, I will cast lots for you here in the presence of the Lord our God. But the Levites among you do not get a portion, because their inheritance is the priesthood of the Lord. Gad, Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh had taken their inheritance beyond the Jordan to the east, as the Lord's servant gave them. As the men prepared to go, Joshua commanded them to write down a description of the land, saying, "Go and survey the land, write a description of it, and return it to me. I will cast lots for you here in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord." So the men went through the land, and described it by towns in a document of 7 sections. They returned to Joshua at the camp in Shiloh. Joshua cast lots for them at Shiloh in the presence of the Lord. They distributed the land to the Israelites according to their divisions. Benjamin's inheritance. The lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin, descendants by their clans, and their allotted territory lay between Judah's descendants and Joseph's descendants. The border on the north side began at Jordan, ascended the slope of Jericho on the north through the hill country westward, and ended at the wilderness around Beth Aven. From there, the border went to Luz, the southern slope of Luz, as Bethel. It then went down Atara Adar over the hill southern of Lower Beth Horon on the west side from the hill facing Beth Horon on the south. The border curved, turning southward, and it ended at Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a city on the descendants of Judah. This was the west side of their border. The south side began at the edge of Kiriath Jearim, and the border extended westward. It went to spring at the waters of Naphtali. The border extended on foot at the hill that faces Rephaim Valley. It ran down Hinnom Valley towards the south Debsite slope and down towards En Rogel. It curved northward and went to En Shemesh and on Gilead, which is opposite of the ascent of Rodimim, and continued down the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. Then it went north to a slope opposite the Arabah and proceeded to the plains. The border continued at the north slope of Beth Hogla and ended in northern bay at the Dead Sea. As the southern end of the Jordan, this is the southern border. The Jordan formed the border on the east side. This is an inheritance of Benjamin's descendants by their clans according to its surrounding borders. Benjamin cities. These are the cities of the tribe of Benjamin's descendants by their clans: Jericho, Beth Hogla, Amet Keziz, Beth Arabah, Zimmer, Bethel, Edom, Perah, Ophron, Shephah, and Anami. I can't really hardly understand these words. Okay, Ophni and Geba, 12 cities, their settlements: Gibeon, Ramah, Baratha, Mizpah, Shirapha, Moza, Rechem, Irpeel, Terah, Selah, Halah, Jebus, Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kirath, 14 cities with their settlements. This inheritance for Benjamin's descendants by their clans. Chapter 19, halfway through. Simon's inheritance. The second lot came out for Simon for the tribe of his descendants by their clans. But the inheritance was within the inheritance given to Judah's descendants. Their inheritance included Beersheba or Sheba, Molada, Hazar Shuel, Bola, Ezim, El Tolad, Bethuel, Herma, Ziklag, Beth, Markaboth, Hazar Zuzah, Beth Lebath, and Sharon, 13 cities with their settlements, and Rimmon, Ether, and Shan, 4 cities with their settlements, and all settlements around these cities as far as Bala, Bir, Ramah in the south. This inheritance of the tribe of Shechan's descendants by their clans. The inheritance of Simeon's descendants was within the territory of Judah's descendants, as the share of Judah's descendants was too large, so Simon's descendants received inheritance within Judah's proportion. Zebulun's inheritance. The third lot came up for Zebulun's descendants by their clans. The territory of their inheritance was stretched as far as Zered. The border went out westward to Marlah, reached Dabusheth, and met the brook east of Jokneam. From Zered, it turned to the east along the border of Shelath. Tabor went to Dabereth and went to Japhia. From there, went to east to Gath-Hefer and Kazan, extending to Rimmon, curving around the Nia border, then circled around Nia on the border to Hanathan and ended at Ephatah El Valley, along with the Katala, Nahala, Shimron, Idali, and Bethlehem, 12 cities and their settlements. It's inheritance of Zebulun's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. Is Issachar's inheritance. The fourth lot came out for the tribe of Issachar's descendants by their clans. The territory went to Jezreel and included Chesuloth, Shunem, Hazrat, Lim, Shihan, and Narharath, Rabbith, Kishion, Ebs, Rameth, and Ganim, and Hada, and Bezer Perez. The border reached to Bor, Shahazam, and Beth Shemesh, and at Jordan, 16 cities with their settlements. Cities, the inheritance of the tribe of Israel, its descendants by their clans, cities, their settlements. Asher's inheritance. The fifth lot came out for the tribe of Asher's descendants by their clans. The boundary included Asher, Amalek, Mishal, and reached westward to Carmel and Shihor, Libnah. It turned eastward to Beth-Jai, reached Zebulun and Ephanel Valley toward Beth Emek and Neel, and went towards Kabil, Abram, Rehob, Hanan, and Kabil. Canaan as far as the greater city. The boundary then turned to Ramah as far as the fortified cities of Tyre, turned back to Hosea, ended at the Mediterranean Sea, including Mahalab, Azib, the tribe of Asher's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. Naphtali's inheritance. 6 lot came out from Naphtali's descendants by their clans. Their boundary went up from Elah and from the oak of Zanan, including Daami, Nukap, and Jamneel, as far as Lakim, and ended at the Jordan. To the west, the boundary turned to Asnath Tabor and went from there to Agag, reaching the Zebulun on the south, Asher on the west, and Judah, the Jordan on the east. The fortified cities were Zidium, Zir, Hamath, Regatha, Shinarath, Adama, Ramah, Hazar, Kadesh, Ezri, and Haran, Iron, Megillah, Horam, Beth, Anah, and Beth Shemesh, 19 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. Dan's inheritance. 7th lot came out for the tribe of Dan's descendants by their clans. Territory of their inheritance included Zorah, Ashtael, Ir, Shemesh, Jabin, Aya, Jalin, Ithila, Ellen, Timnah, Ekron, Exila, Gethan, Baalith, Jehud, Binbra, Bethlehem, Midjart, and Reckon with the territory facing Pah. The territory of the descendants of Dan slipped out of their control and went up and fought against Hashem, captured it, and struck down with sword. So they took possession of it, lived there, and they named Hashem after their ancestor Dan. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Dan's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. When they had finished distributing the land into its territories, the Israelites gave Joshua son of Nun as inheritance among them. By the Lord's command, they gave him the city of Timnath Serah in the hill country of Ephraim, which he requested. He built the city and lived in it. These are the portions that the priests Eleazar, Joshua son of Nun, and the family heads shall be of the Israelite tribes by lot at Shehah in the Lord's presence at the entrance of the tent of meeting, as they finish dividing up the land. Chapter 20, final chapter. So it seems like it's gonna be a somewhat shorter chapter. Cities of refuge. Then the Lord spoke to Joshua. Tell the Israelites, select your cities of refuge as I instructed you through Moses, so that a person who kills someone unintentionally or accidentally may flee there. These will be your refuge from the avenger of blood. When someone flees from one of these cities, stands at the entrance of the city gate, and states his case before the elders of that city, they are to bring him into the city and place the load among them. When the avenger of blood pursues him, they must not hand him over, for he killed his neighbor accidentally, did not hate him beforehand. He is to stay in that city until he stands trial before the assembly, and until the death of the high priest during that time. Then the one who committed manslaughter may return home to his own city, which is fled. So they are designated from Kadesh in the hill country of Naphtali and Galilee, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that's Hebron in the hill country of Judah. Across the Jordan, east of Jericho, they selected Rezer in the wilderness of Patel from Reuben's tribe, Ramoth and Gilead from Gad's tribe, and Golan and Bashan from Manasseh's tribe. These are cities appointed for the Israelites and the aliens residing among them. So anyone who kills a person unintentionally may flee there, not die at the hands of the avenger of blood until he stands before the assembly. That is all the reading for today. So 4 chapters again, just like every other day. It starts out, and there was just a lot of words, but it was less of stories and more just kind of like numbers or places over and over again. But it starts out talking about the inheritance of West Manasseh, and then Joseph's additional inheritance because they are a lot bigger than the inheritance they already gotten. And it talks about how the land is being distributed at Shai-Olin, and then all of Benjamin's inheritance in the Benjamin cities, and the cities of the Levites, the cities of Aaron's descendants, and cities of Kohath's other descendants, and Gershon's descendants, cities of the Meraris, and then the hallowed promised fulfilled. I know. I think I read a little bit too far. We stopped at cities of Levites, and the rest of stuff in here. I don't know what I'm doing. Hope you had a good day so far. Have a great rest of your day. And I'm not say, remember, God loves you. Goodbye.